Welcome back to another episode of Amy Kitchen Cooking Channel. Today's video is of a big meal prep day. Some for myself to last the week as well as for my hubby who needs to work out of town. I first started by making two different dishes here. The frying pan close to the camera, I'm making a dish known as kimpira gobo. It's got lots of sesame oil and crushed sesame in it. It's a very traditional Japanese side dish. The second frying pan that I'm working on there, I'm making a so-called chinjao rosu dish. It's like a Chinese-inspired Japanese stir-fry with lots of capsicum and oyster sauce. Whenever I have a large meal prep day planned, I tend to try to use dishes that have similar ingredients but different flavor profiles. I feel like this does save time a little bit because you're cutting the same vegetable already and you can simultaneously prepare them. The only slightly tedious thing about Japanese dishes is that there's often a main dish and 2 or 3, maybe even 4 side dishes inside the bento as well. Yes, it is tedious to prepare multiple side dishes, but at the same time it does allow you to get a different variety of nutrients in the one meal. So from a health perspective, I can understand why they do it, and I feel how long the Japanese people tend to live compared to the rest of the world is maybe attributed to what they do eat like that. I've just completed another side dish here. It's Chinese broccoli stir-fried with a bit of soy sauce and bonito flakes. This side dish here is one of my favorites lately. You can use purple cabbage like I did today, or use carrots as well. Just need to thinly slice them up and mix them up with a little marinade. I literally just use a bit of olive oil, vinegar, black pepper, salt and honey, and that's it. That flavor profile I think is known as a lape in Japanese, which I think is derived from the French cooking. It's just very clean tasting and really refreshing, goes well with anything. I've moved on to one of my main dish elements with my salmon here. I've coated both sides with a bit of flour and I'm slowly cooking them while basting them with butter. This type of dish is known as a munieru in Japanese, which I think is again also inspired from the French cuisine. And just waiting now for that salmon skin to get nice and crispy. I always get my salmon pieces from Aldi. It just seems like the only place that you can afford to buy salmon nowadays in Australia. There we have it, that's salmon munieru done. In that top right hand side frying pan, I'm making a vegetarian marble tofu. I normally like to use a little bit of pork mince as well to make this dish, but I didn't have any at home today, so vegetarian style it is. Frying pan now, on the left hand side I've got a little bit of bok choy and shimeji mushrooms. I've decided to make it like a little vegetarian slimy sauce to pop on top of the salmon. I spontaneously decided to make this, just felt like it would go better with the salmon, and honestly I really liked how it turned out. Just added a bit of cornstarch flour to the sauce to make it a little bit thicker. My marble tofu dish is also completed there as well. And just a side dish here, I've already cut up my potatoes into bite-sized pieces and popped them into the microwave, so they are already cooked through. As you can see, I've just melted some butter in a frying pan and I'm just waiting for the edges to get nice and crispy. Then I'm just going to season it with a little bit of salt and aonori, which is like a Japanese seaweed powder. It goes really well. You might have seen it on top of like takoyaki, octopus balls before at a market, but it goes really well with these buttery potatoes as well. And now it's time to start packing my bentos. I didn't actually film myself making the roast beef here. It It was actually a practice run for Christmas, just to make sure the recipe will turn out well, which I'm glad it did today. This roast beef recipe was actually surprisingly easy. Just need to flavor the beef really well first, and sear the sides in a frying pan, pop in a Ziploc bag, and try to keep it in a big pot of water at around 60 degrees heat for around 2 hours or so, and that was all done. I'm so glad my pieces of salmon managed to fit inside my bento boxes. The bento boxes I'm using today are from Majime Life. You can find them online if you want to buy some bento boxes in Australia. I always try to fit in at least 3 side dishes every time I'm packing a bento. I find any more than 3 side dishes and I am way too full to finish my lunch. The main dish for this bento here that I'm packing is chinjao rosu. It's like an oyster sauce based stir fry. Every time it's a large meal prep day, I try to add a few different flavors from different cuisines just to keep it interesting and fun, especially for hubby since he's taking it away out of town. For the sauce that went with the roast beef, I literally just grated up a whole onion and a bit of garlic as well. Pop that on the saucepan, added in a bit of sugar, soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, and a bit of red wine, and just let that simmer for a few minutes. And honestly, it was such an easy and yummy sauce. I'll have to do a video on how to make my roast beef in future videos sometime. It was a great hit for Christmas as well, so easy to make as well. My final bento that I'm packing here is for hubby, the marble tofu bento. This is a problem I sometimes have. I'm having to take some rice from the other bento boxes that I've already packed because I didn't seem to have enough rice for my new bento box that I'm packing now. Another thing is that I don't want to have much leftovers, so it's a matter of cramming in as much sides as I can. This is all done with this meal prep bento. As always, I've tried my best to balance proteins and vegetables. Many thanks as always for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comment sections if there's any videos or recipes that you'd like to see in the future. Thank you and have a happy New Year's.